Everybody, this falls into the topic category of specifications. This video is about having different types of probe sets or emitters that have more diodes on the end versus one. Okay, and there's kind of a myth or a rumor. Again, this falls into marketing that some of these companies try to claim, but they're going to claim that having more diodes on the end of a laser somehow makes the improves efficacy. And let me be very specific, okay? Because the real advantage, or the only advantage, I should say, to having a probe head that has, say, 5 diodes versus 1 diode, or 4 diodes, or 10 diodes, okay, is that you're going to, and this sounds kind of a little silly, but essentially when you're treating an area, you won't have to move that device in as large an area. So let's just hold on for a second, and we'll say the condition you're treating covers a larger surface area. Okay, it's a larger area that you're going to want to treat. So if you have more diodes dispersing up the beam, potentially it will be shining light over to a bigger centimeter squared area, just millimeters or however you want to measure it, a bigger area. So you won't have to move the device as much. Okay. True, this is true. All right, but what if you concentrated all that power into one wavelength? Okay, if you concentrate into one wavelength, that's a pretty strong amount of power coming out of one wavelength, right? What if you have a bigger surface area we have to treat? Well, since you have more power coming out of that diode, you're simply going to move it, and you're going to move it quicker over the same area, and it's going to give you the same dose. Okay, so essentially you're still treating the same area, you're just slightly moving it a little bit more versus the other device where you're not moving it as much. So this is another thing you have to calculate. Okay, what are they charging me for this? Does this make sense that I'm just going to have to move it a few more inches? Because in general, unless you're treating a really large part of somebody's body, having the power come out of 1 diode or 2 diodes is fine. It's adequate. Okay. Now, there is actually another little piece of this, and there are studies, okay, and there is some proof showing that there is a difference in the actual treatment outcome, the actual cellular response, when you have, let's say, pick anything, 10 watts here, coming out of one wavelength, 1 diode, versus being dispersed into multiple diodes. Now, if you remember from my other video, let's say we dispersed the, that 10-watt laser into 5 diodes. Okay, you looked at their specs, you saw, oh, there's 5 emitters, 5 diodes. Okay, that would be a total of 2 watts that would come out of each emitter or each diode. Okay. So how does that laser perform? That laser is actually performing like a 2-watt laser. When that amount of power comes and hits the area that you're treating, it's performing like a 2-watt laser. In that area, it's stimulating tissue like a 2-watt laser. The penetration power, everything, all that kind of stuff is performing like a 2-watt laser. That's how you have to think about it in your mind. Okay? So it's not exactly the same as saying that having more emitters is just going to help you cover more surface area and there's absolutely no difference. It's just convenience. This is not true. And in fact, these companies will actually have you believe that dispersing into more beams sometimes gives you better results. But actually showing you, and you're looking at a little bit deeper now, is that you can actually do more in terms of stimulation in an area and for a wider variety of conditions when you have more power actually coming out of less diodes. And again, you're going to be moving that device anyways when you're treating an area. So I would say that having a probe head or the end piece where the light comes out that is going to have a lot more diodes is just really not worth it. It's going to generally be something that a company will decide to do for marketing appeal. Once again, you always have to keep in mind that companies think very clearly about what key features can they have on their device that differentiates them from other competitors, that makes them separate and unique, and that they can do a lot with marketing on. They can have something just unique to talk about. Their salespeople can talk about. So just always remember that, because if they didn't, then a lot of these lasers would look a lot closer, and people would be more scrutinizing and be able to kind of figure things out. And what I'm saying is to be able to figure out, once again, is this worth what they're charging here? And a lot of those companies don't want you to see that so clearly. So if you have any more questions about types of conditions that you have in mind that you want to treat, and what might be best to serve you as far as the amount of power or the type of probe setup or that type of thing, shoot me an email with any questions. Thanks for watching.